I love technology. I mean, absolutely crazy about technology. And I love the product that you guys bring to the table today. Hey, introduce yourself and a little bit about what Netrodyne does.
Sure. So my name is Aaron Osborne. I'm the regional sales manager for Netrodyne. I cover Texas and all the surrounding states. Netrodyne, we are the first and top of the line AI camera solution.
Wouldn't expect you to say anything else.
Well, I'm a little proud. I'm not going to lie. There's a reason why I made the decision to work with the company I came to.
Yes, sir.
Absolutely.
All right, and some of that technology you have, it's primarily, is it only for the big trucks?
No, it's actually for everybody. I've got companies from, a 40-unit roofing company all the way up to a company I can't really give you the name of, but it also shares a name with the largest river in South America. You can figure that out from there. But it's a little bit of everything. So what we do is, the way our system works is we use AI to monitor and score an entire drive. From the time your guy fires up his truck to the time he powers it down, we're monitoring and scoring everything they do.
All right, scoring. So that means that you're grading the driver. You have software that's going to tell drive safe, Dave, here's an ex-driver here.
Absolutely.
We're going to tell you what you did right and what you did wrong.
But see, now you touched on the most important part. Not only do we catch everything that you did wrong, we're the only company, and we got a patent pending on it, only company out there that's going to tell you what you're doing right.
Nice.
So we actually boost your score up for doing the right thing. So when you do things like move over because there's a car on the side of the road, or when a car cuts you off instead of riding on their bumper, you increase your following distance, things like that, we actually boost your score up. So it's a 0 to 1,000 score, and I've got drivers that are well over 1,000 because they're just that good.
Wow, that would be me.
Yep.
Number one, that would be
Yep.
me. Well over 1,000.
Well over, absolutely.
But no, that's very interesting. And what you're talking about here, and the way I'm gathering the information, and had some experience with and looking at your product and stuff like that.
Sure.
What's the most fascinating? What Rick's talking about, the technology, is this artificial intelligence. Tell us a little bit about that.
Sure. So what we actually do, like I said, is the system is designed to constantly be growing and constantly learning and constantly improving. So as we're driving around, as you, the driver, are out and about, our system is monitoring everything that's going on there. So we're going to monitor, we never sleep, right? So we're going to monitor for things like following distance. We're going to monitor for stop signs. We're going to monitor for speed limit signs. So we maintain understanding of everything that's going on, and our system is always watching. And then when there is the eventual crash, because we're not asleep, we're always on, we can always record, we can always monitor.
Yeah, that's very interesting. And I'll tell you, as we look at some of the videos here, why don't you kind of walk us through here what some of the stuff that's going on in these videos?
Absolutely. So what you're seeing is, first of all, everything we record is at 1080p, 30 frames per second. And that's really important because it's like watching a movie when you're in here. So what you can see is you can actually see my system looking around saying, hey, what color is that stop sign?
Oh, wow.
What color is that stoplight? Oh, look, somebody ran the stoplight. I think the video before that, you noticed they stopped. If you pay attention to why they stopped, you'll see that
hey,
there's a police officer.
Let me ask you a question on that right there. So I see that the light turned red or turned yellow. We ran the light.
Right.
Well, today I have that same technology. When my driver hits a hard brake, stops, I can see that we ran a red light or that we stopped. What's different with yours?
The difference is, did you see that second video that we showed?
I did.
They didn't hit the brakes. You had no idea that they ran that stoplight. And here's what happens. The older systems, the initial camera systems, were trigger-based, inertial-based, right? They slam on the brakes, you get a snapshot. And so you, as a safety manager, look at it and go, you slammed on the brakes on this one, you got a negative. My system's monitoring everything. Wow. So when you slam on the brakes, why did you slam on the brakes? Let's have that, and we have that causation built in there. But when you don't slam on the brakes, because what happens is, I as a driver know, every time I slam on the brakes, my safety manager is going to be on my hind parts. So I'm not going to.
So just run that red light.
I'll be honest with you, I've often wondered, okay, if you find yourself in a bad situation, don't put your foot on the brakes because you're going to get caught. If you just go through it,
absolutely,
you don't get caught. And you're saying you stop that, right?
Absolutely.
You're going to catch it. What about, I got another one here, Drive Safe. We hear a lot on the show is, hey, that's not the speed limit.
Oh, that's it.
It's reading the GPS.
Absolutely.
So what can you do about that?
So GPS is usually wrong about 30% of the time. And anybody who drives in Texas knows that that's really lowballing it. Our system actually monitors for speed limit signs and it adjusts accordingly.
What do you mean? Help me out.
So you can see, and coming up here, following the red light, you're going to see the system actually grabs the speed limit and adjusts accordingly. It says, "Oh, speed limit is 35. Right, here we go."
So it's looking at the signs. It knows
it's looking at the signs. I can look at stop signs, and I can tell you if you've ran a stop sign. I can look at speed limit. I can tell you what color light it was that you went through every single time.
And I like some of that because there are times, like in construction zones, when speed limits are changed,
absolutely
varied, and even though they're not what the GPS would mark it as, or like we say when they're wrong, they alter, they change, they're on the fly.
Right.
And this unit is absolutely grabbing those on the fly, changes in the speed, changing because it's doing what you're doing, reading the sign, right?
Absolutely. And it does it. It doesn't fall asleep. It doesn't miss anything because of the way the technology is built. It's always there. It's always on, and you're always going to get notified. The other thing that our system is going to do is it's going to give you a chance to get right. So let's say you're driving in a 55 and it goes down to 45 and the speed limit. It's going to notify you and give you a chance before it affects your score. It's going to give you a chance to get it corrected on it. So as a driver, you like to know that somebody's out there keeping an eye on things, helping you to be a safer driver, helping you to be...
So it's not only tattletelling on you, it's actually helping you.
Absolutely.
So when you say it tells you, is it a beep? Is it
It's usually a beep or different sounds that'll tell you where you're at and all that. So, and you have the ability to configure that a little bit as to what sounds and where and whatnot.
I think we've also talked, and we're very curious. I mean, this is fascinating technology and how advanced it is. Is there any input or anything going on into the future about looking at like a person out there or giving direction or anything like that? I know that right now it's very limited, but we all have talked about it and asked about it. I'm just curious what's that input? You know, like if a police officer says, "Hey, go this way," is there any, or is it just recording the event?
It's at this point, it's just going to record the event.
Right, I got you.
So it's going to kind of keep an eye on things. But you mentioned police officers. That's a really important thing, especially when you are in a crash. So police officer comes out, DOT comes out to inspect a crash.
Correct.
Our system allows you, depending on connectivity and all, to share that video with your police officer within a few moments. So while he's on the scene, that officer can write up the report properly. Because if you've ever tried to actually get something changed, it's dang near impossible out there. So DOT actually loves our solution because they know exactly what's going on when they're writing the report. They want to get it done right and move on to the next one.
And then they watch the movie, and there you go.
Absolutely.
Wow, hey, Aaron, one thing that BCB Live is, and again, we are the safest station in the nation. It's about safety.
Yeah.
What does this do? And I know that you talk, it's seeing the signs and all that, but how is this really giving a driver the ability to improve their skill at driving?
Absolutely. So with our solution, you actually have, each driver will have access to an app where once a week, first of all, they'll always know what their score is. And it kind of becomes fun because they can figure out where they rank in the company. So, hey, I'm number 3 out of 500 trucks. That makes me feel good. Conversely, I'm number 499 out of 500 is a different conversation. Yeah. But, as you can see, we also give them a scorecard.
Wow.
And so we give them the ability. This is a sample from an actual driver for the month of July.
Okay.
And you can see we analyzed 14,851 minutes. This is how many alerts. Hey, 60% of the time you're doing everything perfect. But not only does it tell you what you did, it says, hey, these were the 3 biggest issues that you had. If you were to fix these issues, look at what happens to your driver score. So what a lot of companies will do is they will tie bonuses to those driver scores.
Gotcha.
And so now you look at it and you go, okay, my score was an 831. Maybe if I get to 900, I get an extra $500.
And I like that because on that scorecard, it had something so simple as average following distance. And this is what your score would be if you did it. That was very interesting. I was looking at that, and it went from 830 to 880 out of 1,000 if you just increased your following distance a little bit of the time. And it said, because it's measuring that all the time.
Right.
And if you're going to say, hey, I want to quickly improve my score, I'll just start adding more following distance. And it's going to know that and see that change and then affect it positively.
Absolutely. And at the end of the day, the goal of every professional driver is to improve and to constantly be improving and getting better. And having these sorts of tools out there where you can actually say, this is what I need to do to get better. And you know what happens is 1 week it's following distance. The next week, maybe you had a bad week and you were speeding a little more than you should have. Maybe you ran a few stop signs. But what most of your drivers will find is there's a trend. I have a trend. There's an issue that I constantly have, and I've got a blind spot to it, right? Following distance is a big one for most people.
Oh, yes.
For
We
most
talk
drivers.
about it all the time here, that speed and space. It's
Absolutely.
a big deal, you know, when you're driving down the highway. Hey, so the driver sees their report card, but
Yep.
do they also have, do they review the videos as well, their own videos?
Absolutely. So every week, like I said, getting back to that, every week they've got a few videos. First of all, here are some things that you did well. Okay? Here's some driver starts. Good job on this. Hey, you created separation here instead of staying close and increasing risk. Thank you for that. Here's a couple things that we'd like to see you improve on. And it's not 1,000. Usually these are about 5 minutes worth of coaching that happens each time. And what happens is this. You now on your own as a professional driver have an opportunity to improve how you drive. It is completely free of any bias. Not that any safety managers ever have bias, but it's completely free of any of that shenanigans, right?
Oh, yes,
and it's,
I like it.
It is individualized and pertinent to you as a driver.
Wow.
You know exactly what you need to do to get better.
And during this, and you had a lot of, what kind of driver feedback are you getting? That I would really like to hear what kind of driver feedback.
Hey,
you're
before
getting.
you answer that, hey, producer, if we can, we got time for 2 questions. Go ahead and get them queued up, but go ahead and answer that question while producer looks around.
Absolutely. So driver feedback, not going to lie, most drivers at first are apprehensive about an idea of
I
camera
can
being put in
imagine.
there.
No
It is.
doubt about
It
it.
absolutely
You
is.
can't tell me what I'm doing, right?
Absolutely.
Big brother.
I've been doing this for 30 years. I know it absolutely. I'll tell you this. Yesterday, I had a conversation with a retired driver. He actually was captain of America's Road Team, 5.5 million drive safe miles.
Wow.
He told me he wished he had the solution in his truck. He said, especially the last 5 years with where everything is going, he wished he had that solution in the truck. Most drivers are this. A little bit apprehensive at first. Is the company out trying to get a hold of me, trying to catch me doing something wrong? And then when they actually get into it and see how it makes them a better driver, makes them safer, helps them come home to their families, and improves how well they drive, they get on board.
Yeah, you know, we talk about using technology to the benefit of safety, right? Making us a safer driver. What we have got to do, and what the people that use your technology have got to do, is use this to not to spank somebody or to beat them up, to let them look and train to teach them to be a better, safer driver. There is a difference, right? When I saw the videos there, you guys, your technology can pick up the difference in running a stop sign or slow rolling through a stop sign as well, right?
Yes, sir.
That's just amazing to me how 5 miles an hour.
5 miles or less, it's a roll through, and anything over that, you ran the light.
So that's absolutely amazing. We got a couple of questions here from listeners.
Yeah, we got a couple that were typed out here. So Brian Winsauer is wondering, once we convert over to these mirrorless trucks that have cameras on the side to read what's on their side, would this be able to connect to that? And if so, how would that impact the safety of the truck?
Absolutely, we have the ability to connect with that. In fact, we've got some people who have put a monitor inside the cab so that they can see down both sides of their truck, and it helps them with especially with right-hand turns, making sure that there's nobody out there.
Yeah, so we do. Yeah, there is that ability already. Hey, great question, Mr. Winsauer. There is the ability right now to look down the side of that trailer right now, and I'm going to kind of piggyback off that. What about backing up? I mean, one thing that we see with us getting backed into in this industry, or us backing into people in the industry, is we don't have cameras in the back.
You do not.
Is there anything you see on that, or is that just with everybody dropping and hooking, is that just too hard to do?
With drop and hook, it becomes a bit of a challenge, right? Because they do have wireless. With that far away, they're not great.
Gotcha.
So that's the technology that needs to improve. Not to piggyback off what you say, but I do watch a show when I can. Get out and look is still the very best thing you could possibly do.
Thank you. That
Absolutely.
is the best technology
Come
we have
straight
right
here
now.
from
Is to
Metrodyne.
get your butt out of the truck and look. Get out and look.
Absolutely.
The best technology we have. Who else we got, producer?
Yeah, Tommy Jones was asking, would this technology be able to increase efficiency? Is there anything that can lean into there?
So the efficiencies would be, I'm trying to think what that would be when you're driving the truck. I don't think it's going to give us any metrics on the miles per gallon, nothing like that. Our the truck technology has that already.
I truly believe the efficiencies here are the less time being pulled over and filling out accident reports.
Correct.
Less time downtime. Less time getting your truck in the shop being repaired.
Absolutely.
Less time meeting the people you don't want to meet.
You know what? I'm going to go out and bet this. So I'm going to assume this. The higher your score is, right? The higher your ranking is, I bet you that it's also telling a story about your productivity, about your fuel economy, about your on time, about safety, a lot of that. So I think there's a lot of...
They do tie in together.
Yeah, I bet you they do definitely tie in together on that. Man, I love that software. I love these videos right here. I like it for one reason, is that because it does make this industry just a little bit safer.
That's the goal, right? Look, cameras are coming. That's just the way it works. I'm a big proponent of, first and foremost, get something in the truck, get something to protect you, protect the drivers, make sure that everybody has what they need. Then second step is, let's discuss who's got the best mousetrap. This is coming.
Yes.
It's going to become the standard. It's the same way as ELDs were, 15 years ago. Yeah, everybody was a little bit concerned. This is the standard. The statistics are this: 7 out of 10 accidents are not the driver's fault, right? Now, if that's really the case, then why on earth would you not put a camera to protect you? Because you and I both know when you end up, God forbid, going to court against the hammer. Yeah. Sorry.
We talk about the hammer here all the time.
Well, that's just it. Driving in this morning, there were 10 billboards out there for these attorneys. They do it for a reason.
Yes.
Because at the end of the day, you are the professional driver, and if there is a crash and if there's any ambiguity, you're going to be the one that's found at fault, and it's going to end up falling down on the company.
Cameras help you out. They allow you the ability to look around and see what's going on. It allows us that ability to make a decision quick when there is an accident. It either is or isn't your fault. Hey, thank you so much for this.
Great
job, man.
Thank you for having me.
Love the software, love the technology. I love safety. Love it, love it, love it. Hey, this is BCB Live, the safest station in the nation. All right, welcome to BCB Live Freight and Review. Going to spend a little bit of time just talking about the Dallas market right now. Many people are wondering, hey, what is happening in Dallas? Where's all the freight at? Boy, Dallas freight just plummeting right now. And look right here, we are down to 498. Volume is down significantly right now out of Dallas. And people are saying, well, is the market right sizing? Are there ships not coming in? Is people not shipping out any freight? Is COVID back? I'm going to say this right here. What we know is this: every August, and again, we're not talking the freight volume, but we are all talking percentages. Big percentage down right now. Well, here it is in 2019. I'm skipping 2020, right? Because that was COVID year. 2019, look at the drop right here. Here's the beginning of August, and here it is just dropping down. Let's go back over here till 2018. Here is the August right here. Freight drops down in August. I don't know what it is. Is it state fair time? Is it the corny dogs? But one thing for certain, inside of Texas, when August hits, freight markets tend to go down. We've noticed it year after year after year. If you're new to Dallas, if you're new to this crazy market, this crazy year, one thing's consistent. August means freight is going to come out a lot less as we continue through the rest of this week and next week into the holiday. Hey, that's BCB's Freight and Review. We have a little bit of weather and road ahead of us.
Hey, good morning, everybody. It's Buckle Up Bob, and as you can see behind us, looks a little bit warm throughout the country. Don't have really a whole lot going on. Everything's just going to be kind of isolated a little bit. You can see just a few showers in Detroit, a system, and then up in Iowa, we've got some rain and some strong storms, and then out in the Gulf. But you can see the rest of the country is pretty quiet to start out this morning. But as we go through the day, again, the forecast is expected to that southeastern corridor again is going to get some strong storms potential in the Ohio Valley as well. As we go through the evening, these are the ones I hate, but around midnight you can see some strong potential storms overnight while you're sleeping up here in Iowa, Nebraska, and the Dakotas, and again down here in that Cincinnati area of Ohio, and the Ohio Valley has the potential forecast for some very strong storms with potential tornadoes as we go through the night. That actually improves as the morning comes up. You can see it kind of dies a little bit, but the area grows up in the Dakotas, as well as the Ohio Valley, again, West Virginia, right there in that Huntington, West Virginia, Asheville, Kentucky area. And then again, down here in New Orleans, could see some as well. Our wind gusts, not too bad today. We're going to see in that mid-30s. You can see out there in the west. Really a pretty mild day for as far as the wind goes. So again, just in your areas, be mindful of it. We've got some mid-30 gusts out there in Utah in that northwest corner. So just be careful out there. Slow your speeds down, of course. We also have some traffic that we kind of want to show. There we go. So it's really some of the major cities you can see it's not too bad. Nashville's got a little bit there. The Dallas area, we can kind of see a lot of black, slow down, a lot of traffic going around, especially up here in the northeastern Dallas. And then again, coming down here towards the 35, coming down into the Mansfield area. But you can see Fort Worth, just some normal traffic as we go. And then New Orleans, not too bad as well. Tennessee. So, and then again, I was looking at Atlanta. Atlanta's not too bad either. So we can kind of get up there. There you can kind of see Marietta area. You can see some black where it's stop and go traffic. Okay. So, but this is all normal rush hour traffic. I didn't see anything that was really going on that was alarming. Down in New Orleans, almost every bridge is being repaired. So I just want you to know you're going to have a lot of traffic for months, maybe even a few years to come as they work on the bridges down there. So that's it, a quick look at our weather and traffic, and we'll be right back with some videos.